Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, thanks for tuning in. This is Bianca's YogaFloetry. I got a request, and the request was to show Pincha Mayurasana and break it down. All right, so this can be a really challenging arm balance because basically you're on your forearms and it requires a lot of mobility in and around your shoulders, and at the same time, a lot of strength. So before you go into this arm balance, I recommend that you make sure that you've taken a few shoulder stretches, maybe working into eagle arms, which really opens up the space of your shoulder blades and your rhomboids, and working into Gomukhasana arms, which really stretches the outer upper arms, and also the left arm that goes behind you, in this case, would open up the chest a little bit more. So that's really important that shoulders feel stable. Another thing that you should make sure that you have a strong understanding of before you do this is forearm plank, and the understanding of how you draw the energy up your upper arms as you press your forearms down. So good postures are, again, shoulder stretches, also working into plank chaturanga and checking in with your forearm plank before you move forward. I will show this posture as a modified variation at the wall. So if you are new to Pincha Mayurasana, check in with the wall variation. Otherwise, if you're ready to move forward and take it into the center of the room, here we go. All right, so as you bring your forearms onto the mat, you want to make sure that the forearms ideally are roughly around the distance of your shoulders. If you go too wide, you can already see that my neck is at risk and the energy is falling down. And you want to think as something presses down, energy rebounds up, right? So this is just a general guide. We clasp opposite elbows, we check in, shoulders, elbows in line. Then I ground my hands. Now what can happen is that the hands start to draw in. So you want to make sure that as you bring your wrist in line with your elbows, the heels of your hands are pressing down. And in order to do this, we call this pronation. You want to think forearms pressing down, fingertips rooted, and yet the outer upper arms externally rotating. So the outer upper arms are wrapping in, which basically keeps your shoulder blades on your back. Now, as you set up the foundation, again, we draw the energy up the upper arms, we curl the toes under. What tends to happen is that we move forward and we round. And in this posture, you definitely don't want to round. You want to make sure that there's enough space for your heart to pull forward, but at the same time, you want to engage your serratus, so draw your front ribs in. So the lowest point of your floating ribs, move them to the very tops of your thighs as you curl those toes under. And as you look slightly forward, start to move your feet in so that your shoulders are right over your elbows. Then here I am again. I want to lift up out of the posture by pressing my forearms down and feel my shoulder blades on the back. Now, as I walk my feet in and I start to move the shoulders over the elbows, I'm going to lift the right leg up. What tends to happen is that we open up the hip, but for this we want to think, how can I firm both outer thighs in and stabilize the pelvis? So you want to roll your inner right groin up to the ceiling and point your toes straight down. And you might just do this a few times with a bend in the left knee, come high up onto the ball of the foot, lower the right foot down, ball of the foot, take the left leg up, work the neutral rotation, firm your side hips in. And then if you're feeling like, okay, I'm ready to move forward, remember you're not jumping from here, you're going to walk in so that the shoulders move over the elbows slightly, wrap the outer upper arms in, as you pull the front ribs in, looking slightly forward, inner right groin up, pressing the hands down, we begin to lengthen. And as I press the forearms down, I draw the inseams of my legs together. I root and rise in my upper arms. And as I grow the tailbone to my heels, I lengthen through the mounds of my feet. So I'm drawing the energy up the inseams of my legs. Now what can happen is that we lose the pelvis and I start to sit in my lower back. So you want to think plank pose, right? Or even forearm plank. Grow your tailbone long. And as you grow your tailbone long, lift the heels up. Then lengthen through the mounds of your feet. As you firm the side hips in to lower down, finding that control from your navel, lowering one leg at a time, and again, hugging the hips into the midline. So notice that my elbows didn't splay out, or the hands didn't go out, or the hands didn't come in, which is mostly what happens. And that's because as I'm doing this, I'm drawing the outer wrist towards the inner wrist. So I start to find that traction. So instead of letting the energy dissipate, I draw the energy in towards the midline. And then just like I'm sat here in Vajrasana, I root the tailbone, find the abdomen, ribs move slightly in so that the upper abdominals are engaged, shoulder blades on the back, but I pull the sternum forward. So all four sides of my waist are long. All right, thanks for tuning in. Hope that was helpful. See you down the yoga road.